Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Carchi in Ecuador. Let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. Like I like to say, this is a small region in a small country, so we're not on my atlas. We're on Google Earth because there's so many great pictures to show you in this region. Here's Ecuador. You can see the Galapagos Islands out here. That's also part of Ecuador. We are in, I want to say northern South America, but not along the Caribbean coast. We are along the Pacific coast in the north of South America. Very distinctly, you can see the Andes Mountains running straight through this region. The Andes Mountains is the longest mountain range above sea level. You can see it stretching up along the coast here, and up, and then up here in Colombia, it forks off like that. So it covers pretty much this entire western coast of South America. So we are up here in the mountains, the Andes Mountains. The capital is Tulcan. It is the highest elevated city in Ecuador. There's one really interesting place I want to show you in Tulcan, and that is the cemetery. Which if you're a regular viewer, you know that I try to avoid looking at the cemeteries. Because if you tap on a certain type of place on Google Earth, it thinks that's the only thing you want to see. So I accidentally tapped on a bunch of cemeteries. I think it was in Vietnam, and Google Earth for the longest time thinks that the only thing I want to look at are cemeteries. I finally got it hooked on museums, but I feel like I'm going to ruin that now because the cemetery is definitely the most notable site in Tulcan. So I want you to think for a moment what this cemetery must look like. Picture it in your mind, because you're going to be wrong. Let's take a look. Oops. Let's go like this. Let's go like... Nope. Okay. Let's go like that. There we go. The cemetery. Look at this. It has this incredible topiary all around it. Look at this. It's so whimsical. And you wouldn't really think, look at the birds, that this kind of landscape would be in a place so solemn. It's almost like a little open air museum or garden, I suppose. It's so pretty. Look at these wonderful shaped bushes here. Let's see, that's the full name of the cemetery there. You can see the line to get in. To see these incredible bushes here. Or maybe to visit a loved one. There could be multiple reasons, but yeah, this is definitely the most famous feature in the town, just because that's so unique. Look at it again. How incredible. It looks like a little town made out of plants. It's so cool. So this region is on Colombia's border. Let me zoom out so you can see the border here between Ecuador and Colombia, which is naturally created by the Carchi River. You can see there's a town over here called Carchi. But the Carchi River is the natural border between Ecuador and Colombia. There's a very famous crossing over here called the Rumichaca Bridge. This road is the Pan American Highway. There we go. International Bridge. So if you're ever driving Alaska to, I guess, Ushuaia, or the other way around, you would pass over this bridge on your way into Colombia or Ecuador. I'm not quite sure why this is so important, but it came up in my research a lot, this bridge, so I'm showing it to you. Look at this beautiful church. My goodness. And this was considered a very important sight to see in this region. Look how pretty. Oh, it's like a little castle. Oh, a lot of people ready to cross to one side or the other. Who knows which one? So, let's see. I guess talking about Tulkan, let's talk about the indigenous population that would have lived here before I show you my favorite things about this region. Let's talk a little bit about history, because it mostly centers around Tulkan here. There was a really vibrant indigenous community that lived here, which, if you know your South American history, you think, oh, they had this wonderful culture. They had beautiful, like clay, I want to say not quite pottery, almost like things shaped like you saw in the cemetery there, like figurines and masks and things like that. So if you know your South American history, you go, oh, and they have this history, and then they were conquered by the Inca, right? That's where you're wrong. They were actually never conquered by the Inca. I couldn't find if that was just because the Inca didn't make it any farther north, or if they actually fought the Inca back. I know once the Inca made it up into the Quito area here, it was the beginning of their last era, when the Spanish would arrive. But the Inca referred to the people here as gold noses, because they had gold jewelry in their noses. So once the Spanish came and the Inca told them, oh yeah, up north, we don't go there, that's where the gold noses live. The Spanish were like, wait, what? The who now? The what's? So of course the Spanish came up and they founded Tulkan in 1535. The only other bits that I found in history was an event that happened during Ecuador's first push for independence. In 1814, there was a independence movement building here in Tulkan. And there were many, I would say people, but I think it was all men that I read about. There were many men that were at the forefront of that. The Spanish rounded them all up and executed them here, trying to squash that movement. But of course, that was not to be, because they would eventually win their independence from the Spanish in the 1820s. Now, Ecuador at that time joined a union of countries known as Gran Colombia, which consisted of Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, and Panama. But that broke apart in 1830. So part of that breaking apart negotiation was separating Ecuador from Colombia, and it was at those talks that they decided the Carchi River would be the natural border between the two countries. Looks like there's another crossing over point there. And ever since then, it's been a little quiet corner of Ecuador. Nothing too extreme. Oh, you know what? It was actually here, not in Tulkan, where they had that execution. I remember reading that it was in Bolivar, and I was like, I bet you it was not named that when that event happened. So it actually happened in this town here, where those independence leaders, I suppose, were rounded up and executed. There's a paleontological museum here. Oh, that's right. I was gonna say, I hope maybe there's some of that beautiful indigenous art, but there's some pottery here. It's wonderful. I love the legs there on the pots, but it's mostly dinosaur stuff. Big mastodons and saber-toothed tigers that you can ride. Very cool. It's a bit of indigenous art to show you my favorite part of this region, and that is the paramo. Now, I've talked about the paramo when I discussed Colombia, because most paramos are in Colombia, but this one, you can see all this brown is coming across the border into Ecuador. Paramo is a very distinct landscape you can only find up high in the Andes, where we see this incredible landscape. Look at this. Now it looks very treeless, like it's very brown from above, right? But, oh, look at the sweet llamas there. All these plants you see, I bet you it's a condor. All these plants you see are actually trees. They look like cacti. I said in the first video I mentioned the paramo in Colombia that they were cacti, and you guys corrected me. They are trees. Look at how incredible they are. It's almost like an alien landscape. And you can see all the fog in this photo. It's the fog that brings all the moisture to these plants and helps them grow so uniquely. It is such a strange world, isn't it? Look at this. Absolutely beautiful. Big volcano in the background. Look how amazing. Up high, because these are all trees, you guys. I'm absolutely obsessed with paramo. I have to go to one at some point in my life. Be like this. Taking all the photos. Now, El Angel is named after a volcano, I believe, but the main volcano is right here, right on the border. It is the Chiles volcano. This is the big one. There we go. Look at that. It is so amazing. I love it so much. It's so unique. Little llamas there. Going for a hike up the mountain. Still very active, if I remember correctly. See, there's all that paramo fog helping these trees grow so uniquely. Really beautiful. Oh, big sunshine there. Up high in the mountain, little mountain streams as well. Very remarkable landscape. So yeah, when you are looking at Colombia and now Ecuador on Google Earth and you see these brown patches, those are the paramo. All the brown you see. Those are paramo. We already looked at Sumapaz. Incredible. So unique to this part of the world. Let me see. We look at this? Yeah, we looked at that slideshow, right? I thought it was this one. Is it the same? No. An excuse to look at more paramo. Look at how amazing. It's so unique. So beautiful. It just feels so much like an alien world. You're not going to see these kinds of plants anywhere else in the world. Look at that. Like when I think of like weird trees, I think of like Joshua trees and the dragon's blood trees you see on Socotra Island in Yemen. But it's not so like filled like that. You know, like Joshua trees are really spread out. They're not in these huge clusters like this. Neither are the dragon's blood trees. It is amazing. And as always, I highly recommend that you explore this area for yourself and find some more cool pictures and things. Up here, there's no pictures there, but it is for the agua. which I read were a people group that actually moved into this region fleeing persecution and violence, I believe from Colombia and other parts of Ecuador. But this has no pictures, so you just have to take their word for it. But you can see this thick, thick Amazon jungle here, right? Technically the Amazon, right? Let's zoom out and double check. Oh yeah, look at that. I suppose so. Close enough. Amazon at least is over here. At least Amazon-like, isn't it? You can see lots of cool peaks poking through there too, very pixelated. They're not in 3D, are they? Oh, they're trying to be. It's certainly trying to be. But yeah, a really interesting little corner of Ecuador. My favorite one so far. It's also fascinating. You can see the downhills here. Let's take a look. Coming down from the Andes here to the more flat areas. Here's El Angel. Maybe we'll end it here. Here's the town here. Look at that cute church. I like the spires there. They look like little hats. What is that? I don't know. Ah, cute owl. And a condor. Andean condor. They got all kinds of statues out here. Look, they got deer. And religious statues and historical statues. Very cool. But yeah, let's end it here for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing because tomorrow we are heading to a capital city. We are going to the capital of Wales. So there's lots of pictures to see there, so we'll definitely be playing on Google Earth there as well. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. If you're still awake, please give this video a thumbs up and let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good